Hello from the not quite so locked down bunker. I don't want to sound too goody two-shoes, but it was reading this book, Orwell's 1984, when I was 15, that made me want to be a journalist. It describes how the Ministry of Truth alters the facts, erasing the reality of what's happened and replacing it with whatever version suits the political leadership. Winston Smith, the hero, sits in the ministry's archives doing exactly that. And of course, this is what happened in Stalin's Russia. Inconvenient reports were erased from the files. Pictures of people who had once been friendly with Stalin but had fallen out of favor were photoshopped out of the record. The idea that truth can be twisted and destroyed like this really stirred me up, and I decided I wanted to be a witness, to speak out about what I knew to be the truth. And the best way to do that, I thought, was to become a journalist. Okay, that was pretty starry-eyed of me, and of course I've seen an enormous amount of bad, lying journalism since those days. And anyway, I've realised that the 1984 system isn't necessarily inevitable. Marxism, Leninism in Eastern Europe and Russia itself was brought down by people's desire for freedom and truth, not long after the year when Orwell set his book. And it turned out that the truth hadn't really been destroyed after all. It came pouring out of the communist archives so we can know what really happened. Yet this business of truth versus lies is still with us. One of the best features of parliamentary democracy, as opposed to the presidential system, is that the government is constantly challenged by the opposition. In Britain, we demand that our politicians tell the truth to Parliament. In my lifetime, several ministers have had to resign because they lied to the House of Commons. After the Labour leader, Keir Starmer, accused Boris Johnson of misleading Parliament about the government's line on care home infections the other day, even most of the newspapers that support the Johnson government carried the accusations prominently. In the Daily Telegraph, of all papers, one headline read, "Keir Starmer took Boris Johnson apart like a Duplo train set." It's a lot harder to make sure that American presidents stick to the truth. Bill Clinton and George W. Bush told the American people all sorts of things that weren't true, but their lies were a mooncast shadow compared with Donald Trump's lies. The Washington Post says that during the 3.5 years of his presidency, Mr. Trump has made more than 18,000 false or misleading statements. I make that something like 14 per day. And the really depressing thing is that his supporters in the media don't seem to care about it. Maybe the most important function journalism can really provide is to check the facts and make sure the truth is available to us. In my innocence, I don't think it would have occurred to me when I first read 1984 that reality could be twisted and lied about in Western liberal democracies. But I'm glad it's journalists and not just politicians who are calling out the lies. Seems we do have a pretty vital function after all. Thank you for being with me, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.